our focus today is on shadow work.
Yeah, so we just passed solstice. Solstice was yesterday, the winter solstice. We're kind of focusing, it's that time between the light and the dark, or we're actually right in the darkness.
This is the Daily Practice podcast with Crystal Borelli
and Andrea Hellman.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
And now every day it's building back to the brightness,
back
the light.
to the light. And of course that ties into, the holiday season, and also, which sometimes can have a darkness, I would say, to it, of course, for a lot of people. And then also we're moving into like the new year. So there's like an ending and a closing of a cycle into the rebirth of, everyone's new intentions and goals and all those things.
Do you do a lot of goal setting and intentions around this time?
I used to, when I pull out like my old books and journals of like classes and stuff, I'll come across goals that I've put for myself. And a lot of them I've actually could cross off. I'm like, oh, did that. So I do see that there's a power behind that. I mean, it's the same as writing your goals down as vocalizing. It's like putting it out there and that vibration. But during this time, like around the solstice, I chant the mantra, the Jyotir Mantra of light, and that I start the day before and I go till the next day kind of thing. So that's my ritual. And I feel like I'm already so propelled onto my path that I definitely put it out there with goals of like, hey, I want this many people in this training, or I want to see this much income. Like I definitely think it and put it out there and vocalize it more than writing it down now.
What was your goal last year? Because I feel like right now I'm in full on reflection mode of like last year, things that I kind of wanted to sort of manifest. And then other things that I kind of like started, but then I couldn't really like finish because I started doing some other stuff, and now I'm just reflecting on it all.
And that's what this time of year is for, right? Like the dark time, it's like going into hibernation and like just chilling out, nurturing, taking care, sitting back and allowing for that reflection to happen, to be like, okay, what projects are going to be, you're going to be birthing starting springtime. So you're in the right kind of zone of doing that. For me, it was, the last 2 years.
Survival?
No. It was a really good 2 years. I mean, there was always some really hard, challenging like times, of course, but for the most part, looking back, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, it was awesome. And it was writing my book. That was like, get that project done and complete. And
it's huge. I think it's so funny too, because I'm like, what? You just finished a book? I had no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like your book was like a sleeper for me because I didn't quite realize that you were working on your manual.
Yeah, I've got the manual, the Asana manual, the journal. There's so much.
Yeah, but I think I thought you were just working on your manual every time you're writing, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just wrote this book.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And it is still kind of sleepy. Like I mean, really up until I haven't really marketed, like did any marketing around it. Cause I wrote it for the teacher training.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, oh no, it's for those students, not thinking that maybe other people might want to read it. I just updated a new version of like editing. Cause wow, that shit's hard.
Well, what's really interesting. So my word for 2023 is prolific, not having perfection or like over analyzing and just like letting everything like kind of flow through me. And I feel like that was like your book. Like you kind of just had to like get it out there and then.
Exactly. I had a deadline and my dad was like, get the fucking book done, Crystal. Don't worry about the edits and this and that. Like the information's there, just launch it. And I did that and I was like, okay, let it go. And then I saw some of the funniest little mistakes and I was like, I can't, I gotta do one more review. And I just uploaded a new one on Amazon. So I feel good. I'm leaving it. It's done. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Danielle Connor, who did the design, like did a phenomenal job. And then shout out to Chris, Cupscape to Cups. He did the gods and goddesses, and they're like so dope.
What's your word for 2023?
Mine is to pause.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I've been finding that, and my husband, bless him, he's been calling me out a little bit in like, not in a direct way, but I've been noticing, I'm like, oh, this is a part of myself that it's almost like how can I explain it? I guess it's the old part of me or old me that is so much attitude and so mouthy and so fucking
Oh, gee.
so don't give a fuck. And that can hurt people. And so I'm like, okay, Crystal, you need to, before you speak, maybe take a moment and think about what you're saying. And it goes back to like, is it kind? Is it necessary? And so I would really like to work on, before I blurt out some words about my opinion, maybe just hold back and like take a moment and be in stillness and see if it's going to actually align with who I want to be in the world and who I want to be seen as, and integrity to my spirit, right? Like integrity to like the purest part of myself that is pure love. And does my words support that? And lately they haven't. I've been going a little rogue on that.
Burning hot.
Yeah,
Maybe.
totally.
I don't know.
And
Yeah.
it's funny, who comes up in mind about this is she's done such a beautiful job of doing this with no judgment, just pure like, oh, fuck, she's so rad, is Natalie Russo. I've always felt that Nat has like, she'll be in my class, excuse me, and I'll make a mistake. Like I'll be telling a story and I use the wrong word or something, and I can just see her smiling away with no judgment, no like, oh, you said it wrong or you did it wrong. She's just like, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Like she's not like,
Yeah.
Crystal, you fucked up.
Unconditional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unconditional. And
Well, I think if you misspell there and there, like it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't discount like your intelligence. It's, like it's the smallest, subtlest things.
Yeah.
And we all have something that we have not perfected for sure. Yeah.
Did I tell you what my mom said about she said only God can create perfection. And she was referencing the women in Hopi Land, I think it was Hopi Land, but so they were making blankets and then the weaving. I think we talked about this. And they purposely leave a stitch out so that it's not perfect, because they're like, only God can create perfection. And then my husband was like, but what about me? God is me.
I feel like we live with two people that are like just so pumped on themselves in a good way, though. The way we all should.
Michael said it to laugh, and I had a good laugh. I was like, oh, you're such a funny person. I love it.
Yeah, but it's good. You can kind of see it though. It's good. But he feels the same way about you too. Like that's what I say about my sister. Like nobody in the world loves themselves as much as she does, but I've never ever met anybody that loves as many people as she does or as big as her.
Yeah, she is love.
Because she can just be it. Yeah, there's like zero strings attached.
And as you should be too. Like the whole idea is that we all reside in love. I mean, that's the beginning. And what is yoga is the union with the divine. Well, the divine is love.
Yeah. Oh man. It's so funny though. But I think the thing is with conditional love, it's like you love somebody and then they do something and then you're upset and then you decide you don't love them anymore. But two things can exist at the same time. You can love them and be mad at them at the same time, right? I think that's the thing.
Well, of course, that's the shadow and the light working together. That's the ego and the spirit. That's the light and the dark. That's the sun and the moon.
This is a pretty new
it.
concept for me.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
I think when I created that conditions of the way I think I experienced love as a kid felt conditional on one side of. And so I think I just like, there was like gaps and I just filled it with my own little like 5-year-old thoughts. I don't know.
As we do.
But how do you work through that? So like this time of the year, as we're going into like the darkest time or starting to come out of the darkest times, but it's still like the dark nights.
Yeah, well, it's still the solstice is officially winter as well, right? So it's still dark. Like it got dark. I mean, yesterday was solstice. So it got dark at like 3:30 here. Like, are you kidding me? I was ready for bed at like 6:30. I was like, I'm tired.
I love the extended side light though. Like those shadows, everything is so good.
The light is beautiful. I was in the forest along the river yesterday, and the sun's so low, and it has this golden, like a more golden yellow tone to it, cascading everywhere. It's pretty magical time. It's a very beautiful time.
Yeah.
But this is the time to nurture, to like read the book, to get cozy, to drink tea, to, definitely like things that aren't going to be an exertion of your energy. And as you said, like reflection, journaling. We're basically building up and storing our energy, like our ojas or, Yeah, ojas, which is like your energy bank. We're kind of like nurturing that part of ourselves so that when it is springtime, that's the part of birth, right? So we can push, go into the world with a little bit more pizzazz. I like that word.
What does shadow work look like for you? Is there something that we could have like some sort of like journal prompt or some, I don't know, something to incite some deep reflection?
Well, I think that shadow work is looking at the things that show up in your life that are creating disturbance, and these and in their patterns. So if they're a constant, like, how people say, like, why does this keep happening to me? It's like, because you haven't shifted your perspective yet. It goes back to shifting your perspective, to being aware of the pattern that you're running that has a negative reflection or tone to it. So sitting back and looking at what that is, I mean, like, okay, now I need to make a conscious choice of change or shift, or why that is, like, why is it that this is happening, and dig a little bit deeper into it. But I will say in the winter months, in the darker months, our karmas don't usually come to the surface as much. Like, our deep work doesn't come up because it's so dark that more darkness isn't going to get put on top of that. So, I mean, and because it would get too depressing, and it's already a little bit, heavier as it is because it's freaking cold and it's darker, as I mentioned. But yeah, karmic work doesn't usually work as much in the winter times. It's more in the summer because the light is so bright that the darkness needs to counter that. So your darker work comes up. That's why August, as I mentioned before, is so intense for me. But right now it's like you're like in like, okay, hibernate and get ready for the light to come back, for all the deep work to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just like conserving energy.
Yeah, taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest. It's time to rest. It's time to, not go out and party and dance the night away. And like,
Yeah.
it's time to go home early and drink some tea and chill the fuck out.
Well, I don't have blinds, so I am 100% ruled by like the circadian rhythm of life.
Yeah, amazing.
And it's been insane. The sunrises have been so spectacular. It's crazy. Yeah. But I don't get out of bed to like be out there. I know you're supposed to be outside getting like real sunlight, like as soon as you wake it's science. I'll get back to you on that. I would like this one to kind of be more focused on reflection. I surpassed a lot of things that I thought I would this year. And then I also like dropped quite a few balls that I would like to now sort of like pick up off the ground and put back on the shelf before I can like move into 2023. Maybe that's what my job's going to be, just to write those loose ends that I want to like tie up. Because the amount of time I've spent thinking about them, I think I could have achieved the things that I needed to do.
But then, okay, so then why are you continually to put energy into it? Like, instead of like putting, or like, why can't you just be like, okay, that's done. Focus everything on what you want to start working an energy into in creation.
Because it's not done. Because a few of them are just like small little details on like a bigger project. And it's like the last couple of deliverables that I need to send out. The problem for me is that this one thing that this guy is like, oh, it's like such a small edit. I'm like, but it's not. It's going to take me like 2 days because I just want to be like cleared to like go into 2023 and to like really.
This is the ending of the cycle. That might mean for some people to finish up the projects, to complete those projects so that they are done. And we look at this time as like the darkest time. It's like in the yin yang symbol, it's the darkest part. It's the Shiva. It's like the ending of the cycle. It's the death, right? Winter is all around like it's death. Everything's dead. Mm-hmm. like underneath the snow, they've gone in. They're like, oh, I'll come back up when it's time in the spring, when the sun returns. But so maybe this time right now, before even January 1st, is the time of the completion. Wrap those things up so that you're like, maybe it is the space between and the pause between, so that you get those done so that you can like emerge.
Mm-hmm. And I think I'm also like reflecting on things that I wanted to do last year that I wasn't able to do. And now like reflecting on that, what went wrong? How can I tweak it to like really do it and stay with it and be consistent for the whole year?
Yeah, sounds like goal setting to me, babe.
Boom. Okay. Well, I think I'm just going to make my list like empty my mind and see like the little things that pop up, those little like things of guilt.
Well, they say the only way to like really shift anything or to learn anything, it's like, okay, you can tell me, but then I need to experience it in my own body. And people learn that in different ways. Like there's different ways to learn. You could write something on the chalkboard, like in a teaching situation. I don't get it. I'm like, I don't know. I need more detail. I need more like interaction.
Integration.
Integration, exactly. So that integration is the only way that we can really have that experience. We need to experience it. So like in teacher trainings, we'll be like, okay, we study it, we practice it, and then we teach it. And that's how you start to learn.
Okay, say that again, slower.
We study it,
Yeah.
we practice it in our own body,
Yeah.
and then we teach it to others.
Okay, that's good. That's what we want then.
We studied it, we just talked about it.
Yeah. And then to practice it, is that going to be my list? And then to like go out there in the world, it's going to be me like,
That's your list, and then let's do a mantra
oh, good one.
to embody it.
All right, be the prayer.
Yeah. Exactly, Andrea. Be the
Right.
prayer.
Learning so slowly and quickly all at the same time.
Me too. Me too. So much to learn still. Yeah. That's what I love about yoga is you can study this shit forever, your whole lifetime, plus lifetimes. Like Sage Bharadvaja, he did it lifetimes. And it takes a long time to figure out how it all works. It takes lifetimes to clear the karmas and lifetimes to, yeah, but what fun.
Yeah, I was writing a message this morning, looking at the sky ablaze, and I just had one line. I forget what I was saying, but I was just saying how opening my heart. I said that's my life's work, is to actually like open it up, because it's
Well, you have the perfect sister to help you with that because she is all love. She is the heart.
yeah, but she's so easy to practice on
That's
that,
true.
and because she has a constant stream of unconditional love, I don't.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Or I'm getting more of one for
Yeah.
sure. But actually being like that, like with other people that have triggers, like her triggers are just straight up reactions. Like, I don't know. That's not totally true. She has gone through a lot of like trauma, and oh man, we've been doing mantra evenings and like lighting candles. She's all like, this is her favorite mudra. And then,
That's so fucking awesome.
oh,
I love that so much.
I told you, yeah.
What's her favorite mantra?
Well,
she
we're
have
singing
one?
the pop song one.
Oh, Jashiva Shankara Boom Boom Hare Hare. Nice.
Yes. So I was singing it, and then she was like fully doing the chakras.
Come on.
Yeah. And I said, oh, where did you get that? And oh, crystal rainbow. And that's when I think the next day I texted you, and it's like, I need to video her doing it, but it's like so cute, and it's like so dark, like in my bedroom when we're doing it or whatever.
But I
So
like
funny.
that too. Like it has this, this like very intimate setting and moment of that where it should be. Like it's very, it's very personal work.
Yeah. And she said, let's do this every single night. And I said, why don't we just start with Fridays? Like, look at me, two middle-aged women living together, the Friday night mantras.
Mantra.
Okay. The mantra.
Yeah.
This would be good.
Yeah. So this mantra, this is the mantra that I actually chant the day before solstice and the day of, and then the day after.
Okay.
And this comes from the Upanishads. And this is known as the mantra of light, and it's called the Jyotir Mantra. So the translation is, may we be led from the unreal to the real. So we're speaking about truth and embodying your truth and speaking it up, because your voice has this power of vibration and of creation and also destruction. We know that. And so chanting really stimulates this power within us to be able to speak up. And our true self in the teachings is blissful and happy and peaceful and fearless. That's from my teacher, Vishwaji. And the true self, is this connection to the spirit, connection to the divine, connection to source. So this first line, may we be led from the unreal to the real, is embodying that, to embody the truth. In yoga, we call that satya, the truth. The next line is, may we be led from darkness to light. So, that's kind of obvious, but also it's the ignorance. And just like the guru, the teacher, helps us to see that. So moving from any kind of shadow work or karmas into this awareness of lifting the illusion, the Maya, to be able to see more clearly, see a different perspective, shift perspective for a positive, to live a more fulfilled happiness of a life. And the next one is may we be led or lead us to death, to immortality. And that kind of speaks to the last one, the death, the completion of the cycle, like what we're in right now, the ending. This is Shiva's realm, total, being cleared, so that we can move into this enlightened state. The enlightened state, of course, in the yogic teachings, you'd be leaving your body, you'd be done with all your work, your physical form, your ego is gone, you're back into the spirit and the divine realm. Within the Divine Realm book on Amazon or crystalrainbowbrelly.com. And
If you want a signed copy.
and but ultimately this enlightenment, this idea now is that we are the Jiva Mukta. We are the one that is enlightened in physical form. So we're trying to, for the majority, I follow so many people that are waking up on social and really embodying their truth, embodying their spirit, speaking up for their freedoms and who they want to be truly in the world. And this is all speaks around that. So and then the last one is peace. Let there be peace, peace, and more peace. So may we be led from the unreal to the real. May we be led from darkness to light. May we be led from death to immortality, and let there be peace, peace, and peace. Asatoma sat gamaya, tamasoma jyotir gamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Asatoma Sat Gamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Asatoma Sat Gamaya, Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Mm.
Yeah, mantra of light.
Right? I feel really conflicted when we're doing this because I get really into it,
The zone.
the flow, and then I'm like, oh yeah, check your sound.
Oh yeah. Or the two worlds.
Don't
I
mess
get
it up.
Yeah.
I'm like you'll get this in the replay. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then I guess for pranayama today, we're going to maybe not do it because the main one that you were thinking of is too aggressive.
No, it's not that it's too aggressive. It's a very advanced pranayam. So usually the winter's breath, we call it, it's the Bastrika pranayam. It's known as the winter's breath, the bellows breath. Kind of like, the bellow. I didn't know this till later on because I didn't have one when I was little. And I lived off grid and we used the wood stove all the time. But the pumper.
Oh, I didn't know that was the bellow. I always think of
Apparently.
like the bellows of the ship or something, like in the depths.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought. But maybe that's a
Well,
different
something
word.
that I think that's what it is. It pumps the air. So basically it stokes the inner fire,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's an inner fire stoke to get things more warm because it's so chilled. So this one is an inhale and exhale are the same count.
Yeah.
And it's fast. And you can do some arm movements as well. But there's so many precautions of, if you're pregnant, if you have high or low blood pressure, if you have had surgery, if you feel lightheaded, like there's quite a few precautions and very serious ones because it is so advanced. So I would say like seek out a teacher that teaches it.
I like that.
Yeah, and but it's a beautiful breath. It's strong and it gets things moving, and that's usually the winter's breath. But we're not going to do it here today.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll make a little course so that people can like warm up and work themselves through
There
it.
you go. You can always come to my online classes. I can teach it as well there.
Yeah, I like that. Let's do it. Hit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and you get a free class. First class is free with Hariom discount.
Oh, nice. Okay. And that is on crystalborelli.com. Oh my gosh.
crystalrainbowberylli.com.
I can't
Come
believe I
on,
messed it
girl.
up. Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's because I just start typing CRY and you pop up.
Yeah.
Okay, so crystalrainbowberylli.com. And then we also have
Thedailypractice.life.
www.thedailypractice.life.
This is the shadow period, so it's the time to pause and reflect and journal and get ready for setting your goals and intentions for the new year.
I like it because we're going to be back in the new year talking about the light,
We are. Hari Om.
seeking the light.
Shanti Shanti.
Mic drop. We'll see you next week.
Om Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.
This is the Daily Practice podcast with Crystal Borelli
And Andrew Hellman. If you want to check us out on the World Wide Web, our website is thedailypractice.life. And on there, we have all kinds of resources, but we have a free full moon course. It's about an hour long. There's a yoga practice, pranayama. You'll learn a mantra as well as story time, and all taught by Crystal Borelli.
Hari Om.